some people disagree with the statement that Bitcoin's not liquid, not the most liquid asset in the world.
What's more liquid than that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because that was one of the replies to Michael Saylor.
I think I have to agree with that. It's one of the most liquid. You can buy it today, sell it 10 minutes later.
It's definitely more liquid than properties. I would argue it is more liquid than stocks, because stocks are limited to like register to the country that's selling the stock. Like, how easy is it for me to go on the, I don't know, South African stock exchange? Not easy.
No, it's the most liquid for sure.
Welcome back, everybody,
to another week
of your favorite crypto podcast,
sometimes crypto,
the unscripted
crypto podcast. Hey yo.
Ayo. How we doing?
Are you asking the people that?
Well, I asked that, and I kind of like messed around with my camera a little bit. I realized that I had it misplaced wrong. But yeah, if you're doing good, I'm glad to hear that. Please share that in the comments. If you're not in absolute pain with how the stock market and the crypto market has been, you're probably not in the stock market and the crypto market, and
if
now
you
might
are,
be the good time to change that.
Maybe. Is it? I don't even know it right now.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic out there. The world's been moving.
Wait, but if you are in pain, you might find yourself at the end of a bottle. Just get the next one.
At the end of a bottle? I thought you were gonna say tunnel.
Nah, at the end of the bottle.
No, at the end of the bottle. At the end of the bottle sounds pretty accurate.
Right? And if you are, you might need to go get the next one. Also, please know we do not advocate alcoholics. If you are struggling, please look for help.
Alcoholism.
I'm sorry. You know, it's because you make those jokes, so there's actual people with problems. Please, look for help. Call a number. Call the alcoholism number in your wherever you are.
You could,
if you have one.
I'd be willing to also just lend advice and help. I don't know, support. I'm here. We're here for you guys, no matter what.
We're in the same pain you are.
So, I don't even know where to start right now, because the market is hurting. What's Bitcoin sitting at, William? I guess just to open up with the price of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin right now is sitting at $82,817.90. Not terrible.
Not terrible comparing it to other crypto assets. It's,
or to other
holding
stocks,
on pretty,
but not terrible.
Or to stocks, yes, stocks in general. That actually opens up to something that went down on X, a conversation between David Portnoy. Well, it's not so much a conversation, more so like a tweet put up by David Portnoy on X, asking why does Bitcoin seem to move exactly like the U.S. stock market. He said, if the point of Bitcoin is to be independent of the U.S. Dollar and non-regulated, why does it basically trade exactly like the U.S. stock market nowadays? Market goes up, Bitcoin's up. Market down, Bitcoin down. Which is a question that I've heard mentioned multiple times to me outside of the podcast. People will be like, why does Bitcoin trade exactly like the stock market if it's supposed to be its own thing?
Which I think we've addressed it here, a few times.
We've probably addressed it more than one time, yeah. So to this tweet, essentially put up by David Portnoy, the one and only, your favorite, Michael Saylor replied to David Portnoy.
Oh, what did Michael Saylor have to say?
Yeah, he said, Bitcoin trades like a risk asset short term because it's the most liquid, saleable, 24/7 asset on the earth. In times of panic, traders will sell what they can, not what they want to. then he went on to add, Bitcoin is the most volatile because it is the most useful, which is an interesting take. But it is definitely.
Did Portnoy respond to that?
It is definitely the. I did not see a reply from Portnoy. There might be, but I did not see it. Let's see. So essentially, Bitcoin is available 24/7. It is extremely liquid. So it's very easy for it to be influenced under market conditions.
I mean, and it's also at the very end of the risk curve, or at the very top of the risk curve.
What do you mean by that?
It is the most risky speculative asset there is in terms of risk.
Yeah.
Like if you
in terms of speculation and risk, everyone puts it on the top. Well, the vast majority of people puts it on the top.
I mean, it is, right? If you compare it like to other like, you know, to other stocks and things, it would be.
Yeah.
Unless someone doesn't agree with that statement.
Some people disagree with the statement that Bitcoin's not liquid, not the most liquid asset in the world.
What's more liquid than that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because that was one of the replies in to David Portnoy, to Michael Saylor. He's like, something. It was I just closed the tab. It was like something along like, oh, most liquid asset. Yeah, now you're smoking cat piss, I think was what the guy said.
I think I have to agree with that. It's one of the most liquid. It's you can buy it today, sell it 10 minutes later.
Yeah, it's definitely more liquid than stocks. I mean, not stocks, properties.
Yeah,
real estate.
It's definitely one of the. It's up there in liquidity. It should be the highest liquid asset.
It's also, you know what, I would argue it is more liquid than stocks, because stocks are limited to like being
weekdays and
registered.
Holiday. Yeah.
And registered to the country that's selling the stock. Like, how easy is it for me to go on the South African stock exchange?
Not
easy.
No, it's the most liquid for sure.
Yeah, so that guy's smoking cat piss. Whoever wrote that comment to Michael Saylor's post.
I could agree there. It is the most liquid, and the reason it trades like stocks is because it's who's ever invested, and there's a lot of institutional investing now with the ETFs. It's gonna flow like that, and it always it's always flown. It's always followed stocks it's followed stocks pretty well.
For the most part, after 2017, 2016, yeah.
Yeah. And it only will follow the stock market more as more institutional money gets put into it.
I don't know. I think there will be at one point, like, which one's the leading indicator? Which one moves
first
and pulls the other? Yeah.
So right now
sorry, I'm probably gonna say the same thing you're gonna say. So continue.
No, so I was gonna say right now everyone's saying the stock market goes first, then Bitcoin follows. So everyone, the sentiment would be that everyone's waiting for Bitcoin to continue pushing down, because the stock market has continued to push down so drastically over the last couple of weeks, with very little hope in sight to stop bleeding.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not big, like, I'm not crazy into the whole trading situation, but I'm sure that at some point there is a possibility that Bitcoin becomes a leading indicator, as opposed to the lagging one. So if Bitcoin moves up, then the stock market can move up. Yeah, there has to be change in structural availability.
Yeah. So, like, you can take yesterday, because we're recording on Saturday. Take Friday the 4th, for an example. Stocks kept on bleeding after Trump's Tariff Liberation Day announcements. They kept on bleeding down another 4 or 5%. Bitcoin kind of held its 82,800 range. That little price movement for the rest of the day. It really didn't push down until after market closed, coming up until this morning, and it's still at 82,800 as we said in the beginning. So, and stocks bled between Thursday and Friday like a total of like 15-16%. Individual stocks, the total S&P, I don't know how much it went down between those 2 days.
Yeah, those tariffs for Liberation Day were insane, intense, kind of crazy. 10% blanket statement on all imports across every country practically.
Yeah, so like the S&P 500 went from 5,685 on the April 3rd to like where it closed yesterday. The S&P went down 10%.
Okay. So people are expecting Bitcoin to go down also.
Another percentage amount, which it just hasn't yet. The expectation would be for Bitcoin to come down more, but it just hasn't. Which you can, as of right now, you can consider a deviation. Maybe it does go, maybe it doesn't. It's really up in the air, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
You can't really predict with so many changes coming in every other day.
Yeah, I definitely call it a deviation. Whether it holds or not, it's kind of dependent on it's 100% dependent on what happens in the near future. So which goes to my like other point. It's like to what degree, like what makes one a leading indicator as opposed to being the follower or the also there's the perspective in which like it's a store of a store of value. Yeah, the stock market could crash, and Bitcoin can go down, somewhat parallel with the stock market. But if it does deviate like this and doesn't go down as much as the stock market, I would say that's a bit of a buffer. Yeah, assets overall lost value, but if one asset loses less value, yeah, there is a store of value there, even though it still loses value. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, just to be devil's advocate, at that point, gold's outperforming Bitcoin in this scenario since it's holding up value better than
gold is doing pretty good this time around. This
made
year,
a new all-time high as well. It hit 3,150 per ounce. It pulled back like 5% since then. It's sitting at like 3,030.
Yeah, the first time I heard gold above $3,000 an ounce, I was like shocked.
It doesn't, yeah. It's holding value though, and it
is.
But
it is. Gold is definitely holding value. Doing good. Good for gold.
Good for gold. That's awesome. That's why you show them a little bit of everything if you want. I heard that.
Sorry about that. I don't know. That was like, I think the water that I just drank. Weird throat noises. No, that was my throat. That literally came all through here.
I thought it was your stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not hungry. I ate breakfast today. I found nutrition.
That's good. But yeah, the markets are crazy. They're ugly, and it's going to probably stay ugly for a while.
Yeah. So, before we deviate too much away from the whole conversation, Michael Saylor did end up buying more Bitcoin at MicroStrategy.
At Strategy.
That's right. It's Strategy. It's no longer MicroStrategy.
Get it right.
So, they bought Bitcoin between March 24th and March 30th. A total of 22,048 Bitcoin. at $86,969 per coin. That's totaling $1.92 billion invested into Bitcoin that week.
I think his total holdings is about 3% of all the Bitcoin circulation.
So if we could actually do the math on that. Strategy now holds 528,185 Bitcoin.
About 3%.
That's worth about $35.63 billion and an average cost of $67,458.
He's raised it up. He's raised his average price quite a bit.
Yeah. I remember back when it was like 40,000.
Yeah.
969. How much did you say Bitcoin is at right now?
82,000.
82. Yeah, so definitely lost some money on that purchase, on that last purchase that he's made.
Yeah.
But they're up. Still.
They're up bigly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to say that before anything else was said about the market.
Oh, okay.
And
Metaplanet also bought more Bitcoin throughout that.
Of course, Metaplanet, second biggest buyer of Bitcoin, I think, at this point. Like they're just, in terms of like, well, I don't know, maybe not the biggest like actual total value, but they've been buying. Like they're just, Metaplanet just keeps on buying.
Yeah, this is. I mean, you also got to put in perspective. They're not as big as Strategy, so.
Oh, nowhere near. Yeah, Japanese-owned company.
Jesus, why you gotta attack the Japanese for?
I'm not attacking the Japanese. I'm just saying they're that's a separate statement, not correlating it at all to the first statement.
I just want to make sure.
This guy. Let's see if my throat does that noise again after taking another sip of water. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah, man. Crypto.
I mean, it's all thanks to Daddy Trump liberating us.
Liberation. What? He's like, joking. I'm joking. Yeah, people in the States are pretty hot and riled with this whole tariff thing. I don't know. I feel like people like to parrot a lot because I hear a lot of the same thing left and right, and I'm like, no one was saying this a while ago. And it was just like in general. Like I feel like I've been hearing a lot of like blanket statements and buzzwords a lot.
I mean, and everyone, including ourselves, are now tariff experts.
Yeah.
That's another joke.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, we're not. So like, oh, the blanket statement that, oh, who pays for the tariffs? Who pays for the tariffs? Everyone's asking that. Who pays for the tariffs? It's supposed to be a bit of a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
At this point, everyone knows the consumer pays the tariff. At this point.
I thought it was the company who pays for the tariff.
Yeah, the company pays the tariff, but they pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah, no.
So if the consumer chooses to buy the item at that price, the consumer is the one who paid the tariff.
Consumer pays for the tariff. Yes, prices go up because of tariffs. Yes, it does cause inflation because prices go up and it's inflationary.
Mm-hmm.
But, however, if this can make our exports become less tariffed by other countries and we drop our tariffs, then it means the companies that we're exporting to also get a cheaper product.
Yeah. So I guess like the strategy would be place tariffs on everyone who has a tariff on us, reciprocal, to then at some point either reduce the tariffs all in all and get rid of it entirely, um, or like on both ends, or reduce or renegotiate it so that we, yeah, to get rid of those tariffs.
Or drop
Did I
them.
just say the same thing twice?
You did say the same thing twice, but you didn't have to say where you. We don't have to like the other countries don't have to drop it, but we could add incentives to not have the same tariff for specific products. Be like, we don't need it. It's just to renegotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I see. Okay, yeah. So in trying to renegotiate lowering our tariffs for other countries, like other countries' tariffs on us, that should help the product get cheaper for the people of the other countries as well.
Yeah, and also makes us more competitive in exporting.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah,
products
we could
do
sell
export.
more. Mm-hmm. Or the amount that we sell should increase.
Ideally, theoretically.
Yeah. Ultimately, taxes shouldn't exist anyways, my opinion. But it is what it is.
That's a whole different topic.
That's a whole different story. Because tariffs are taxes.
Yes.
But we need to fund the government one way or another, right, guys?
Yes.
Oh, speaking of funding the government one way or another.
Okay.
I heard this, and this is kind of tangent. I heard that there was this software web developer for some government organization that was getting paid $350,000 a month for making edits and small changes to this organization's website and software platform. Government agency. $350,000 a month. And I think the amount of work that the guy was doing was straight up minimal. Something along the lines of like 4 hours a week. Yeah. So essentially it was $350 a month, and I guess if you're listening to this, do the math and let us know in the comments, because I don't want to stop to do the math on the pod. But it was $350 a week, $350,000 a month, and his hourly rate ended up coming to be about $8,500 per hour is what this guy was making. So let us know in the comments how many hours did the guy work.
I don't know how many hours you worked, but if he worked 10 months, he made $3.5 million that year.
Yeah, the guy made $4 million, like 4 point something million dollars that year.
He worked a little over 10 months.
Yeah, so do the math, guys. $350,000 a month, and he made $8,500 per hour. How many hours did he work in a month?
That's insane.
Yeah, that's insane. There's no reason for us to be spending that much money on someone to do light edits onto a website.
Unless he was doing some like hardcore things. But like,
it wasn't. Yeah.
Damn. We're in the wrong field. We should work for the government.
That guy was making bread, dude. Bread.
We should have worked for the government at this point. Jesus. I don't think
that's
Snowden
why
snitched if he was getting paid that much.
Probably not. Probably not. But that's the thing.
Being honest.
The government breeds inefficiency. Because it's not worth... Like, yeah, I would take the money. Most people would take the money.
And I'm not snitching. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I don't know how I made this much. I work.
But that's just how the government functions. It's like, yeah, get the job done. That's how much it pays. Okay, that's how much you need. Yeah, I'll pay you.
You gotta think about the government. It's the largest country, the largest company in the world, and you have slackers, and those slackers get unnoticed the bigger the company gets.
Mm-hmm.
And you just won't notice
It's the biggest company in the world, so expect a lot of slackers.
Company, we're using slackers.
The word cut. Yeah.
Well, no. There's slackers in the government just because there's slackers in the world.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying the company is just not. It's just a term that we're using.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I use the term company because in companies the bigger the company gets, the more people you have that are just not gonna perform to the highest level to do their job.
The appropriate term would be like organization.
Sure, if you tomato.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, it's literally irrelevant.
Tomato. So, in Liberation Day, let's get back on track. Trump announced all the reciprocal tariffs he was handing out, like Oprah.
Reciprocal?
You get a car. You said reciprocal.
Okay, just want to make sure you said it correctly.
What did you hear?
Reciprocal. Something butchered. A butchered reciprocal.
A butchered reciprocal? That's fair.
Yeah.
But Daddy Trump handed out tariffs left and right on Tuesday.
Yep, April 2nd.
April 2nd. Handed them out like they were water. So this is a post by Watcher Guru.
Mm-hmm.
So this is President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Chile 10%, India 26%, Israel 17%, Brazil 10%, China 34%, Japan 24%, Turkey 10%, Taiwan 32%, Vietnam 46%, Pakistan 29%.
Wait.
Thailand.
Are you gonna go down? Are you gonna go down the entire list?
It's not a really big list, but I could.
Are you kidding me? The list is massive.
No, not this one. Not the one that Watcher Guru posted. I'm already halfway there. I was in Pakistan.
Okay.
Pakistan 29, Thailand 36, Australia 10, Malaysia 24, Colombia 10, Sri Lanka 44, Singapore 10, Indonesia 32, Colombia 49, Philippines 17, Switzerland 31, Bangladesh 37, South Korea 25, South Africa 30, United Kingdom 10, and European Union 20%. That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot of tariffs. It's a lot of tariffs. What do you mean that's it? That took forever, William.
But I will preface, I think the 10% are just the baseline tariffs we're imposing, not the reciprocal. Like, it's not that they have one on us and we're adding it, and we're just returning. I think that's the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, at the same time, he also added 25% tariffs on all automobiles, imports, and there was another one he added somewhere. I forgot about it. Let me see. My computer's loading.
Yeah. And that tends to happen sometimes with computers. They tend to think a little bit and see what they gotta pull up.
No, it was just the 25 additional on all foreign automobiles. And these all go to effect, like, some went to effect like the day of, others like Friday, and then some are coming to effect the 9th of April. But all these tariffs will be in place by like the 10th, pretty much. However,
so expect more pain.
Well, I wouldn't say. I say they will already be in place. What I was going to say was, these are also caps. This is as much as we're going to go unless the country retaliates and raises the tariffs they impose on us. So, like, China came out and retaliated and said we're going to impose an additional 34% tariff on U.S. imports. So I assume Trump may or may not impose an additional 34% tariff on China. So we'll see what happens there.
Things with China are gonna get super expensive.
Things with China will get expensive because China has the actual they have their own deck of cards. They have their own hand to play.
Yeah.
Unlike Mexico, Canada, everyone else can't really play the same. Can't go toe to toe with the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Many countries have also already reached out saying we're going to drop tariffs, we're going to cut tariffs, let's negotiate this. Like, let's get it. Let's make this work. Let's not do this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that plays out. I will say, let's not expect a pump for a little while.
Yeah, a little delayed gratification. Expect pain in the market for a few months.
Yeah. And also, let's take it with a grain of salt. Let's see what Powell decides to say at some point. Since Trump and his administration already said, we don't care what happens to the stock market. They said it. Like, yeah. It's their problem and not us problem.
Yeah. U.S. bonds, I believe, are going down. Like the 10-year bond.
10-year bond did drop, which is what Trump wants.
Yeah, Trump is actively trying to kill the market right now, trying to get those bonds.
Because the U.S. cannot refinance their debt with a 10-year bond where it is. They can't.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What do you mean? Not we. The U.S. cannot refinance.
Well, I mean we because we don't have a choice. Like we don't make the decision whether we do or don't. It's people above us, yeah. The people who are voted in by us. Well, that's what I mean by it's not we, but it's like the people who can decide are the ones making that choice.
Mm-hmm. We're the ones who put those people into that power. So
not all of them, but a few.
Yeah. Yeah. So pain will be present for a while.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned this, but the stock market between last day or two lost about $3.5 trillion. So
that's a pretty penny.
That put in perspective, that wipes out the entire crypto market twice.
Yeah, that's a pretty stark perspective.
Twice.
Yeah.
So will this be able to force Powell's hand to do anything with rates? Maybe, maybe not. I think Powell might just be like, I have a bigger one than you, and be like, we'll keep rates the same longer.
Powell's a bit of a madman, not gonna lie. Guy's kind of crazy sometimes. Well, on poly market, the likelihood of a 25% basis point cut increased by 2x, it doubled. I think it went from 20% to 40% or something like that. Essentially doubled.
I didn't see that one. I saw the likelihood of 3 rate cuts this year has also gone up over the 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I think everyone's assuming rate cuts. I just think I think the market has more pain to follow. I don't think the market's done bleeding for now. Stock market, I think Bitcoin will bleed a little more, or at least bounce around here longer until something drastic changes in the next couple months.
Yeah, something drastic.
Like Trump saying,
I don't know.
Getting tariffs cut and interest rates down.
Yeah, interest rates go down, and then he's like, all right, we're getting rid of some of these tariffs because we don't need them no more. I
actually think he will keep the majority of tariffs unless the other country brings theirs down.
And then if Cynthia Loomis's bill gets passed, that's super bullish for Bitcoin.
All bullish news on Bitcoin has been sold off because it's all been bullish news. We'll get into some of the bullish news now in a few. But it's not pretty. It is very stark. Stark, is that the right word?
Stark sounds like the right word. I'm not too sure what the definition of Stark is, but yeah,
Me
that does
neither.
sound appropriate.
But
I'm searching it up. I'm searching up the definition of
Go for
Stark.
it.
I'm curious.
So we shall
Define Stark.
see how the market decides to play this out.
So Stark adds an adjective, clearly distinguished or delineated. That's definition 1. Definition 2, bare, desolate, or unadorned.
That's the one.
And definition 3, severe or unmitigated, harsh or grim.
That's the
So
one.
yeah, Stark has a bit of a few different definitions.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stark is definitely it is looking pretty stark for the stock market and crypto market.
So you wanna get to some of these stocks, how much have they bled?
Sure.
So let's start off with Amazon. Amazon.
Any
peaked.
particular reason why we're starting off with Amazon?
Nah.
No. Okay. Just start off then. Just asking.
I mean, it's one of the Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven. So Amazon peaked at 242, 241. And from that peak, which was about February 6, it has pulled down 28.86%. Currently at 172, 171.
Ouch.
Nvidia peaked at 152. It's currently sitting at 94. I think it dropped like 40%.
That's kind of crazy, yeah.
These are stocks, not crypto. Apple peaked about 160, 159 and has dropped all the way down to 188, 27%. It is not looking good. Tesla has also been destroyed. Peaked at
That's
485
insane.
and is sitting at 240, 239. It's 50% down.
Wow.
Yeah, stocks are in pain, not doing good. And they will continue to be like this for a bit.
You know what's also kind of crazy? I saw somewhere the other day where like the majority of the best days come somewhat shortly after some of the worst days.
Yeah. So after these large pullbacks, corrections, bloodbaths, typically we do, like, if I'm not mistaken, months after we get some of the best recovery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the only thing is, how long will this downtrend last before that? Are we calling this the bottom? Is there still room to go down? Is the thing.
Another thing that I saw was,
mm-hmm.
How's sentiment doing?
Sentiment saying that this is not the bottom. That there is still the S&P can still go down another 5 to 6%.
That's a lot. That could mean a whole lot of different things.
Yeah, but what were you saying about?
So what I was reading the other day was essentially like the best days end up coming after the worst days, somewhat shortly after. And they were like, there was it was like a case example. It's like, oh, if you had invested X amount of money and held it for X amount of time, then you would make so much money, like a whatever Y amount, right? Mm-hmm. And then they progressed in saying is like, oh, but if you had missed the 5 best days, like, this is how much your new value. What do you mean buying opportunity?
Like, you mean best days as in price went up, or just like price went like?
Yeah. Price went down, up. Price went up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like, if you would have like not had been in the market when on the
These
five best days, on these 5 best days, you would have lost a good chunk, about 20% of your total profits, had you been in there the entire time, not buying and selling, not trading.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like, if you've missed the 10 best days, you would have lost 25% of your total profit of being allocated for the full amount of time that their scenario was for. I don't remember the specifics. I do apologize for that. And then they also went on to saying that the good days come after the bad days.
Yeah, I mean, so the VIX, the volatility S&P 500 index, meaning it measures. It's a index that's only does good when everything tanks, and it's pretty much stable.
Okay.
Anytime after that. So every time it has spiked. So it spiked back in August when we had the Japan carry trade whole debacle. It spiked all the way to 64, and then it came drastically all the way down. So like days. Spiked at 60, and then a couple days later, it was already back to 50.
Yeah.
It's something that's that volatile. Right now, we're sitting at 45.
Oh, wow. And that's significant.
Yeah. So, like, I think COVID crash, it spiked all the way to 84, and then came down after that. So, I will say, with the VIX being this high, we could assume the bottom is not in, maybe not in yet, but it is close. So we'll see what happens. But the VIX is always a good measure of turmoil in the market. So yeah, that's the VIX. We'll see. It's a good indicator. It spiked hard. It closed really green. So Monday we'll continue telling the story. So I will preface, if you're buying, be cautious, and if you're holding, just hold. Don't sell. Don't try to catch a bottom. It's not worth it. Especially if you're in good stocks. Crypto, I'm with you. There's not much you can do at this point. Being realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of painful out there.
It's quite. But nonetheless, moving from
so
that.
there is some good news for crypto.
Let's get into the bullish stuff, because there's a lot of bullish news that's not being.
Yeah, right. There is.
Before we get into that, all the bullish news that has happened. If this was last cycle, we're in $500,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, if it was last cycle, we'd definitely be doing crazy numbers.
Last cycle, with all this bullish news,
last cycle had a lot more. Last cycle had a lot more sentiment to it. There was a lot more euphoria.
There's not there's only pain in this cycle.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's literally kind of insane.
You know how people say like, oh, all cycles are kind of similar. We've already repeated things like these statements last cycle. I want to say we have, but I don't think. I think this cycle is very much more painful.
This cycle is different, but we knew this cycle was going to be different from the beginning because of the fact that Bitcoin broke all-time high before the halving event.
Yes.
Last year.
Correct. Yeah, I will say that, but I will say I didn't think it was going to be this.
Oh, yeah, that's also true. This is not
like we've had
fun.
really long. Like we have Bitcoin range for like 7 months. From like 50 to 60s for like 7 months. That's absurd. Makes a move to 100K, huge, and now we're ranging again.
Mm-hmm.
With potential downturn all the way back down to like 68. Even some people are saying 62s, 60, like low 60s.
They're wrong.
Oh, I
Saying
like
it.
his cut.
They're wrong.
I'm on the same
that
boat.
ain't happening.
I think we're going. If we go lower, I think 70s are lowest.
70 would be our absolute lowest. Yeah.
But
I'm selling plasma. I'm selling plasma and donating sperm. I'm gonna start having kids to buy Bitcoin.
I'm selling a kidney at that point. How much do you think a pinky's worth? I'll sell a pinky.
No one cares about your pinky, William.
Oh, you need
your lungs should go for like $250,000.
I need that to breathe.
You only need one, I think.
Yeah, but then you're like screwed. Like you're limited after one. But yeah, that's why I.
Oh man,
like, I feel like
I feel like our. Mm-hmm. Continue.
I will say I feel like I got a few things wrong this cycle.
I was gonna say I feel like our comedy is very particular, and some people are gonna be like, "What the? Are these guys serious?"
I want to say I to all our listeners, I apologize if I did you a disservice getting so many things wrong throughout this endeavor.
I am glad that you guys are here joining us and going through this journey with us. But as mentioned before, there is good news on the horizon. There are good news spread across. That's not getting a lot. They're just not getting attention.
Hit us with the good news.
So on the bright side, the SEC, even though a lot of crypto people don't care too much about what the government says, like the people who are really deep into the weeds don't care too much about the government. The SEC has put out a statement. An official statement, not a claim. An official statement. This was yesterday, actually, on Friday, April 4th, saying that not all stablecoins are securities.
Get it. As we knew.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that we felt like it was accurate. But essentially, they put out the statement. It was specifically the Division of Corporate Finance. They put out a statement saying stablecoins are designed to maintain a stable value relative to the United States dollar, or USD, on a 1-for-1 basis, can be redeemed for USD on a 1-to-1 basis, and are backed by assets held in a reserve that are considered low risk and readily liquid, with a USD value that meets or exceeds the redemption value of the stablecoins in circulation, which is called covered stablecoins, are defined as Our covered table does not allow for interest payments by the issuer of the user, while earnings on the assets. This is a long statement. Essentially, if the stablecoin is 1-to-1 USD and can be transferred immediately, like I have stablecoin, I need to switch it for USD immediately with the issuer, it could be considered a stablecoin. The issuer also cannot have like other things that cannot be equivalent to a dollar asset as a reserve, i.e. gold and other cryptocurrencies. Which
meaning they have to hold bonds.
Yeah, bonds, essentially. Bonds and
they
dollars.
They have
actual
to hold
physical
US
dollars.
And actual dollars to create that 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, no gold, no silver, no crypto in the reserves as a stable coin to be considered a stable coin that's not a security.
Which Gary Gensler said last year or the year before that even though all these things are true, that even if it's the stable coin is not meant to make money or anyways, it's not a producer of funds, there is no speculating that's going to go up or down since it's pegged 1-to-1. He said it doesn't matter, they would still be considered securities he just said they'll be considered securities regardless, which is totally false, because that whole three-legged prong thing that they do to decide whether it's security or not does not fit into stablecoins.
Yeah.
So
essentially making up his own. Essentially, he was making up his own rules and says, "I'm the captain now. I am the captain." Literally. No, yeah. Why he got fired? Why he resigned?
For sure, 100%. But yeah, so like that's a huge plus.
Oh yeah, that's super big. So this is really big, in particular for USDC, because it is 1-to-1 backed as per the eyes of the SEC. Mm-hmm. There is no constitution of value added, like return on investment. It's 1-to-1, readily available, as opposed to Tether, where multiple things are disqualify Tether from being considered not a security. Which is one thing is that they hold other assets that's not dollars or bonds, as well as the fact that there is a delay, the potential delays on when you get your funds if you were to trade Tether in to the issuer to get USD. There is a delay, which is not supposed to happen.
Yeah. But all in all, pretty good news.
Oh yeah, that's great news. That means that the SEC...
I was going to say, just also to preface, it's more so good news for those who are mainly using sexes and are on centralized exchanges, who are on the non-deep crypto rabbit hole. That's who affects and matters more too.
Yep, absolutely. The better regulatory clarity for people who are exposed to regulatory agencies.
Correct. Which, on this note of USDC and Circle, the rumors of them IPOing have come back.
Yep, that is true.
As we mentioned, I think a year ago now, give or take, early on, that Circle might become one of the most valuable companies due to the fact that they need to buy US debt, and due to the fact that crypto continues to grow, meaning they'll have to buy more US debt and just become larger. Their IPO has been resurfaced again, this time at a new evaluation from a year ago.
Yeah?
Yeah. So the evaluation originally was at like 9 billion, and some like between 5 and 9 billion. It has come back. They're being reevaluated around 5.5 to $5 billion due to the fact that they had their holdings have shrunk a little bit. Crypto's down, and the fact that their merger didn't go through, that they were doing on early on, that they were doing last time. But the talks of them still becoming one of the largest companies is still there.
Yeah. For $5 billion, you're considered one of the largest companies?
No, not as of right now, but the potential to be. I said that the potential to become one of the largest.
Oh, potential to become. Okay, I see.
Yeah, no, they're not. Like, no, they're not even close. But they had the potential.
Yeah, I was like, it's like I'm pretty sure there's companies worth way more than $5 billion.
There is many more. No, but it's
many more companies and many more dollars.
Yeah, no, it's the potential to become it, based on the field, the growing, and the fact that they're going to be buying a lot of US debt. Yeah, like the interest payment on that alone is massive. Which they share a portion of that with Coinbase, since Coinbase is one of their providers for USDCs.
I see.
So, a lot of fun stuff there.
Yeah. Are there any other good news that you've heard for crypto in general?
No.
This one was the one that caught my attention. This one was the one that caught my attention because we have mentioned stable coins since we started this podcast, and their functionality, their usefulness. So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Well, not even agreeing to that, but not. But the majority of crypto is handled in USD. Even if you're a trader in China or Europe, you're not trading in euro. You're not trading in euros or in yen. You're trading in dollars for the most part.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whichever one has the highest volume.
It's because it has the highest volume. But yeah, I don't got much more.
Well, I do have some pretty cool AI news.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've noticed, but last week, there was this upsurge in pictures from people that look like Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that Sam Altman tweeted that if you guys keeping us, like, take a break on the picture generation, we can't keep up. Like, our staff needs to take a break, and you're not letting them take a break.
Yeah, there was I think I don't have the number written down right here. Not that I see, but I think Chat or OpenAI reported that they had like 700 million images created in like a week.
Damn.
Yeah, insane.
That should be our thumbnail.
Yeah, 700 million images made on AI in 1 week.
Well, not that, but I was using the popular
image. Oh, I see. Get the Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli are pictures. Yeah, you're right. That might be a good option. Let us know if you've made it this far and you see that. But essentially, as a competitor to OpenAI's DALL-E model, Midjourney, who's been around for quite a while, just recently released version 7. Now, this is big news because Midjourney has not released a new AI model in like a year. So, pretty significant changes were made in terms of like quality of images that were generated. People seem to be excited for this. Well, there's some select few people who use Midjourney quite significantly. But before you could even use Midjourney version 7, you need to kind of like train the AI with 200 images, essentially, rating 200 images, so that Midjourney can create a personalization profile for you and kind of like tailor the images that it generates to your ideal images.
So it has. So you have to train on what you want, essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially, yeah. You get 200 images, and you start rating these images.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to the CEO, David Holtz, says, completely different architecture from Midjourney V7. V7 is much smarter with text prompts. Image prompts look fantastic. Images quality is noticeably higher with beautiful textures and bodies, hands, and objects of all kinds have significant better coherence on all details.
So this
is what the CEO said.
They refined everything.
They refined it, yeah. So there are apparently 2 flavors that you could run, Turbo and Relaxed, which pretty much means does it generate it faster or slower? And there's also a draft mode that pretty much makes renders of these images like 10x the speed of their normal generation, but costs a fraction of what it actually costs because these images tend to be a lot lower quality than standard mode images. So you could kind of like actually start drafting an image with some prompting, and then once you have like a general structure, then you could go into the relax or turbo mode and generate a higher quality image
to get the actual thing.
The end product. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been seeing some of these Midjourney images being posted on Twitter, on X, and there's some of them there I'm like, this is pretty cool. Granted, there's a couple there was like one or two images I started looking into it, like it was like a huge image, and I like zooming in, right, and I'm like, well, all these details kind of look vague, but they work. Like I was like, this looks abstract, like beyond abstract.
Yeah.
Like you can't really tell, but it does add the detail to the image because it's like a bit of like a surreal type design. And then like shortly after that, I see this picture of this close up of a bee, of a specific type of bee, and I'm like looking at this image, and I'm like, I can't tell now if this is fake or real because it looked pretty real.
Well, I imagine also like in the picture that you're probably talking about that's that large, it also takes quite a bit of rendering to get done.
Yeah, definitely.
So I
did take some time to render that one.
Which question do you know, is the rendering? I assume the rendering process has to be done on the computer itself, right? Like the computer has to process the render, or are they doing it on their back end?
So,
or a combination.
I'm not too sure what the structure for Midjourney is, if I'm being honest. Midjourney might be leveraging some level of DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, so that the rendering can be done a little bit across different hardwares. Like I don't think the rendering gets done on the actual PC.
Gotcha. It'll be too taxing.
You could probably also probably render it on your PC. But Midjourney does charge for renders, so I'm assuming there's some type of hybrid approach.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah,
so Midjourney was reported back in 2023 it was expected to generate $200 million in revenue.
Damn.
Yeah, which is a pretty penny for a pretty small niche AI. Thing. Yeah, because Midjourney is strictly for image generation.
Yeah, and also there's no free version. You have to pay.
You have to, pretty much. Like I think you get like definitely not for V7. Yeah, for V7, yeah, because I think you get like at most 10 generations a day for free.
I tried to create an account with them, but they were charging.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Midjourney also, like, it's interesting because you could like interact with it through the Discord.
Oh.
But you could also interact with it on a platform. Yeah, try the Discord because I think the Discord one is the free one.
Okay, that could be it.
However, just like Facebook or the whole situation that happened with Facebook, they are facing lawsuits.
Of course.
Midjourney is facing lawsuits. Accused for infringing the rights of millions of artists by using data that was collected without consent of the creators of the images. And ultimately, this just kind of, and just to tie this back into crypto, this is something that I've been saying for a while, something that I know is going to be the eventuality because it just makes sense. Whenever you post original work on the internet, having it signed by a wallet that you own means that these AI models, whenever they utilize that as a reference in their decision making or generation, you're entitled to some type of monetary payment from that information that you provided to them. And this can be verified with the crypto wallet that you use to sign that work that you posted. Yeah, there should be a development in the protocols for how AIs generate ideas.
Yeah. Like where is it
like
getting
to
the,
give proper reference.
Mm-hmm.
But not just reference, because reference doesn't do you so much. Like, OpenAI is making a fucking killing with all these subscriptions that they're getting, and they're not paying nobody nothing. Granted, a lot of the work is free and available because it's just been published for so long, but there's also work that's used. Yeah, that isn't.
Yeah.
So those creators deserve to be compensated for that.
Well, I remember back many years ago now, you one time brought up a conversation. Nah, it was on the pod. It was just the two of us, or it was in a group. You said, do you care about your data being taken or something, or like used?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I was like, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Something to that regard. I will say my stance on that statement made has greatly changed.
Yeah. Data is the new oil, guys. That's how the companies are making billions of dollars.
Trillions, actually.
Yeah, actually. Literally every tech organization at large is utilizing data that it's collecting one way or another. And if it's not used, like, as in, like, if for whatever reason they do not know what to do with the data, they will sell it to someone else who does.
Will figure out something to do with the data.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Data's precious. All these things that we just approve, like we sign up for Disney Plus, we sign up, and there's this whole terms and agreements. We never read it, but they find a way to get you.
Yeah, as the statement goes, is if the product is free, it's because you are the product.
Yes.
They're essentially just gathering information from you and selling your information. Now, what does that mean? Like, okay, cool. What can they do? They could literally influence you with information.
Yeah.
They build a profile on who you are, how you think, how you act under certain circumstances.
They throw
and
in
when
the
the time is right.
algorithm.
Yeah, well, not even when the time is right. They make the time to be right for you to make certain purchases or decisions. Time. Yeah, the entire time.
The reason you stay on Instagram scrolling, TikTok scrolling, anywhere scrolling, it's because it knows that this is what you want to see, and it knows this is going to get your attention.
And then by keeping your attention, they'll show you an ad that they make money on. Yeah, and then if someone who's really trying to sell you a specific product says, hey, Instagram, I really need to sell this product to these type of people, make it happen. Instagram fucking makes it happen. Yeah. Like, Meta will make it happen. Google will make it happen. Granted, yeah, convenient. But there's going to be a certain point. Yeah. There is a certain point in which your decisions are not your decisions. They've been implanted to you by these major organizations. And with that statement, this podcast just got shadow banned.
Not the first time, but whatever.
Yeah.
Quick little tangent after that whole rant. So, I saw this news article, or I saw this. I don't remember where I saw it. It could have been YouTube. It was Twitter. It was X. Where this guy went to sue Disney for something that happened. And he wasn't allowed to sue. I know the story. And he wasn't allowed to sue Disney.
Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened that he couldn't. I know why he couldn't sue Disney. I don't know why he was trying to sue Disney.
I could tell you why he was trying to sue Disney.
Oh, why was he trying to sue Disney? I don't remember why.
So finish your reason, and then I'll tell you why. Yeah, finish your story, and I'll tell you why, because it's pretty shocking.
Okay, so the reason he wasn't allowed to sue Disney was because somewhere in terms and agreements, he signed off saying, I will not sue you for an X amount of time. And where he signed it was Disney Plus, meaning everyone who has created a Disney Plus account is now not able to sue Disney, no matter if it's a physical thing that happened to them, it does not matter. They're just not allowed to sue Disney. I'm sure a court will be able to fight this in one way or another if it gets to an extreme. I'm sure it is. I'm sure.
You want to know? You want to know what the case was?
What was the case?
They went to one of the Disney parks.
Okay.
Went to a restaurant. Told them that the wife has an allergy. Served her food with the allergy. The wife died. Like, died. And the guy's like, negligence. This is straight up negligence, and they couldn't sue Disney.
No lawyer took that?
I don't know if any lawyer took it, but it, like, that was the end result.
No, I feel like I forgot. I didn't know. I forgot. I didn't read that part where the wife died. Oh my god, that's terrible. And he wasn't able to sue.
That sucks. Nope.
There had to
Negligence.
some lawyers should have taken that case.
That's dirty. That's dirty.
Yo, that's dirty. That's mess. That's fuck shit.
Yeah, so if you have a Disney Plus account, probably just don't go to Disney because they could literally kill you, and it's
you can't do anything
illegal.
about it.
They could literally just, an employee could literally just run up to you. They could just anyone could tell any employee and be like, "Yo, go kill that guy. You're good. Don't worry. You're not going to jail."
I don't think that works like that. That's a murder charge. The person might not be able to sue, but the person's going to murder. That's murder either way.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. In that extreme, yeah, that is.
The extreme you're giving. That's
but
still
if you
murder. But wait a minute. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm assuming that even though since she died because of the allergic reaction, that's still manslaughter. In the third
don't know
degree,
what the situation
which one's the one that's not intentional? I think there's one of them that's not intentional, and that the person doesn't necessarily have to go to jail or anything, but it's still an investigation type of thing.
The question at this point would be, I guess, where does the blame go? Was there proof that they were was there proof that communication of the allergy existed? So who'd they tell? The waitress, I'm assuming, or the waiter? Did the waitress communicate that to the chef? Was it the chef who put it on, knowing that that they shouldn't put it? And then I don't know what other checks there are, but
also not negligence.
So like, where does the blame go? Is the manslaughter case going to the waitress, to the chef, to the manager?
I assume
for not setting up appropriate.
It depends.
What if the waitress never told the chef?
I said I'm agreeing with you. I don't know where it goes. I just said I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah. That's what I'm just
also.
Making
Wouldn't
a point.
the person carry an EpiPen if you have like a severe allergic reaction like that?
You should, but
I'm not saying
can't stop people from walking down dark alleys.
You're right. I'm not blaming her in any way. I'm just saying it's crazy, and that sucks. And I hope he does get to sue and get his get back.
I agree. I mean, like, there's never going to be any amount of money that replaces your wife, but like,
you just sleep easier though if you get a couple million.
It would help. Yeah, it sucks, but
that's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Like,
he will always be in pain. But
yeah,
you know,
that will joke, always. Guys. But at least you'll have money.
Exactly.
Like, the pain the damage is done.
The damage is done. All right, one last story to lighten the mood.
Awesome. Glad. Thank you.
So, Kawasaki just released a 4-legged robot that you can buy, that you can ride on anything.
The 4-legged robot could
go
over all terrains.
You want to see it?
Sure.
It's on Twitter.
Kawasaki. Who's Kawasaki?
They're the ones who make the bikes and the jet skis.
Okay.
Are you seeing my screen?
I am not seeing your screen. I am now. Never mind. Don't do anything.
That's what they draw.
Oh. Yo, that's baller. Yo, that looks insane.
Could you imagine this thing and you're just riding this thing on the mountains and you're just leaping from things to things?
That's a concept.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a concept, but still, like, cool.
That's super cool.
That's cool, though. I don't know if I want one.
That's dumb cool.
I would have to treat it real nice, like, in case it wants to kill me or something. But, still dope.
I would ride that thing to, like, the grocery store. The supermarket. Like, down the street.
Have to, like, you would have to wait for the attachment to hold stuff in.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's
you're right.
Dope as fuck. But that's all I have.
That's crazy.
It. That's cool
though. Same. Well, if you guys have made it this far, we appreciate your attention, your support, your care.
It's been a long one. We'll be back next week with another episode. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell Alex he's pretty. And on that note,
you don't have to do that.
It's been another week
of your favorite crypto podcast.
Sometimes Crypto.
The Unscripted
Crypto Podcast. Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.